evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. It's that time of the year. There's not much left to prepare, and we all have to make some form of predictions. And we're just a matter of days away from the start of the Olympic portion of the track and field portion, rather, of the Olympic Games. Opening ceremony is on Friday, and some other events have already started to take place. And but we're here for the track and field, so I want to get to that for sure. And there's a lot of events to cover. I probably have to do the show in a couple parts, but I'll certainly start off with some of the marquee events. I'll give my assessments on where I think medals will go and the reasoning behind some of that. And also, I'm hoping that you guys will chime in. It's going to be exciting. Predictions are hard to make because sports is one of those things that people don't always deliver. And but at this stage we have to make our predictions, and things can happen. And but I want to stick my neck out on someone. I have to be honest with you, it's been a hard prediction to make, and but I look forward to sharing some of that with you just tonight, and hopefully you guys will get an opportunity to chime in. I want to thank you for joining me. Some comments came in early. Jared, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Dina, yeah, finally a new YouTube notification work. I'm happy it worked this time. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming on, and hopefully we can get through some of these predictions, and we'll see what happens obviously once the Olympics start. I I had a hard time thinking through some of these things, and I have caveats, and you never want to have that type of stuff when you think about predictions. I'm also flying solo tonight. I no producer with me, so I got nothing to put up on the screen, even though I had we had some things planned for that. But we'll make it work, and I'm sure you will all work with everything. Anyway, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and make sure you chime in for sure. I want to start off with the marquee event of all of track and field. Yeah, I should never do it this way, but we have to do it this way. We have to talk about the 100 meters. That's the most decorated event. It's the kind of event that everybody in the sport understands, and whether or not you are a fan of athletics in general, you all have a sense of what it means when we talk about the 100 meters. And it's an exciting period, and you never know what will happen here, and it's interesting. So I want to start off with the women, and this is a tough one for me because I can't remember a time when in the last how many Olympics that we haven't thought about Jamaicans doing extremely well here, and it still might happen, but it's an interesting prediction. So this is an event that Jamaica has dominated for the last four Olympic Games. Coach Stephen Francis, in particular, secured gold medals, leading charges to the 100 meters, back to back for Shelley and Fraser Price, then back to back for Elaine Thompson, the defending Olympic champion, who unfortunately won't be there due to injury. And Jamaica, as a small island nation, finds itself usually atop the pinnacle of women's sprinting, and they've been dominant for quite a number of years now. But if we're being honest, and if we're going into this, we don't know, right? This is the first time in a long time where, in one, I don't even know if Fraser Price can approach the medal, and I've never done a prediction when she hasn't been there like that. And if we're being honest, it's quite possible that likes of the world champion Sha'carri Richardson would probably start favorite. A lot was riding on Shericka Jackson. She pulled out of that 200 meters that we saw recently, and we're not quite sure what kind of shape she's in. There's different kind of words coming out that she's healthy, that she's looking good, but I don't get to see that, and most of us don't, so we have to wait for that. I think if you get a healthy Jackson, then that is a different story. She definitely would compete for the gold medal as well. And the lineup is interesting. I think the US have a lot of women who are capable of doing some good stuff. And obviously, we have Julian Alfred from St. Lucia, who I think will find her way on the podium. And despite, Sharika may not be pulling up trees the way we may want her to do, you still have to recognize the importance of a guy like Stephen Francis. And, who knows, can Tia Clayton do something, right? Uh, Fraser Price has had an extraordinary career, the greatest career of 100 meters, if we're being honest with ourselves, in terms of medals and so on. And we don't know what she'll do. I mean, we know for sure she's really good at running rounds. She's fantastic. This is nothing new for her, and maybe she'll find her way into shape and find her way somewhere around the medal podium. I don't know. How you doing, Reg? Greetings, greetings. And so this was a hard one for me, and as it stands right now, I I just feel like Julian Alfred will do something really special this time. I don't know if it's my take or I'm trying to angle in a direction away from, say, Richardson. And it's not a disrespect to Richardson or anything like that. But I feel like, I feel Julian Alfred might win the gold medal. And I probably think Sha'carri Richardson could take bronze, could take silver rather. And, maybe because it's my allegiance to Jamaica in some way, but I feel like Tia Clayton could spring a surprise. You just never know. She could spring a surprise. So that's probably where I'm hoping it might look like, assuming that Sharika Jackson is not in the kind of shape she is. I think if she is in that kind of shape, then I think she'll find a way on the podium as well. And you just never want to count out Fraser Price, but she's been struggling with injuries and hasn't dipped below 10.9 seconds this season. And I think it's going to take a lot. You have to be in a 10 point, probably 7 shape, 10.8 low, 7 shape to even approach the podium. And the likes of a Richardson should go in overwhelming favorite, even though I'm saying that. I mean, she's gone very close to sub 10.7 this season. And, what can we do? But to say that she may find her way on top of the podium, beating out everybody, even though I think Alfred might just pip it. That's how I'm feeling. Maybe that's what I want. I mean, but if we're being serious, maybe we should have Sha'carri winning it. But I feel Alfred might win it. And maybe it's a wait and see game as well. We have to see what we get from a Sharika Jackson. There's other women that always are in the mix. It's not that it's not competitive, but I don't know if these women will approach the medal podium in the same way as the others. I don't want to count out people like Jefferson or TT Terry. The Americans are thinking and they're gearing up for a clean sweep, which I can't see, but they should be in the mix. Uh, you always have great contenders like Marie Jose Talou, but she also suffered some stuff this season. I can't see her doing much here. Likewise, the Europeans, they're always there in the mix, but I don't think they're going to push for any medal podium. Munjinga Kambunji is in and around usually, but she'll do well to make the final. And the likes of the British duo of Dina Asher Smith or Daryl Nita, I think they could do well, but I'm not seeing them anywhere close to the podium. So, yeah, this is how I would start off to think through that stuff. Let me get some of the what's going on, guys. Everybody, thank you for joining. Let me get some of your comments here, and yeah, I'll get to that Akeem in a second, and I'll do some more of those things. Yeah, I I mean I know you were saying you're surprised I don't have Sha'carri winning. I mean I think it took a lot for me to come out here and say I think Julian Alfred might win it, but I mean, but that probably is more fanciful on my take. I don't know. Sometimes when you do these predictions, you're probably not always as level headed as you should be. I mean, seriously, we should probably say Sha'carri should win this quite comfortably, given that uh maybe only Jackson in our prime would right now would do well to beat her, and maybe Fraser Price obviously, but Fraser Price is turning 38, and she pulled out recently of the last continental tour, so I don't know what to expect there. It's just that there's a lot of unknowns from quality sprinters, and two in particular that if they are at their very best would force their way on a medal podium and could potentially win it, but I don't know. I'll get to Nikisha Price later. Um, Yeah, Reg. I think rooting for Tia Clayton might be interesting. I think it, sometimes in sports you get these transitions that happen in a moment that you never anticipate. Not a lot of people anticipate the Fraser Price 200, not the 2008 Fraser Price. I mean, she looked good. People are complaining that she should not have been on the team, if you remember these things, and how, VCB was the reigning 100-meter champion and she should get a shot. And, the rest is history there. So that's one way of thinking about it. Uh, Akeem is saying, let me get to your comments here. Shelly will give it her all, her last hurrah. I think so. The thing about Shelley and Fraser Price, I mean, I said it, usually say it, I repeat my own lines here, I'm plagiarizing myself, is that can you beat her? Yes, because as you get older, it's possible. And even can you force her off her medal podium? It has never really happened. And the one time she never got on a podium was when was it? 2011, and that was some circumstances there. And but every time she finds a way. Last year, she should not have been anywhere close to the podium given the kind of season that she had. And then she found her way on the podium, and so she's a real fighter. The thing is, what kind of shape she really is in, right? How fast can she go is the real question. And also to go back to, you have to run these things in a relatively quick period of time. So you're looking at a 90-minute or so interval where the semifinals will quite possibly be tough, and then to come back and run at your very best. But she could run a blinder and find her way on the podium. But it's just hard to be optimistic about that, given that we haven't seen a lot from her. We didn't see a lot from her last year, and then she still found her way on the podium. I think I'm going to take a wait and see approach. I think last year I did a wait and see approach where you just want to see how she runs in the opening rounds. And I think that's the same for Sharika Jackson. I take a wait and see approach. How comfortable she looks running the rounds. And then once you get to the semifinal, you can take another type of an estimate there and see what kind of real shape they are in, because that's the challenge when you haven't seen athletes competing over and over again over a season, or they have had a season that's been interrupted by injury or setbacks, and that's what's happened to both of these two great Jamaicans here. And so we'll have to wait and see. I'll definitely get to your comments as well. Dina saying, if our Jamaican women don't win the goal in 100, I don't mind seeing Alfred win it. I will feel at peace with the USA not winning. Interesting. Yeah, I think Julian Alfred, with a super talented athlete, an athlete that has now benefited from doing an entire season away from the collegiate circuit in an environment that she enjoys, feels comfortable in. Coach Flo is top tier. And I I think her build up to the Olympic Games is also interesting because she's from a very tiny island that doesn't have a track record of 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 top class sprinting and competition in general. So it's easy to just get prepared for this and not worry about peaking a little bit earlier for national championships, or and then maintaining a peak or coming out of it and coming back into it, depending on how the coach likes to do it. And so I think we saw something really good from her these past few weeks, and looked very good in the 200 meters over London at the London Diamond League last Saturday. I mean, pipped on the line by Gabby Thomas, who obviously is a much superior 200-meter runner, but I think Alfred has the chops to do extremely well. And maybe I would like her to win if you can't see one of the if you can't get a Jamaican on top of the podium. That's usually how people would probably do it if you are from that kind of a connection there. But Richards will. If Richards doesn't medal, then that would be a shocker too. So yeah. Reg is getting his pot cover. He says Paris is finally here. LOL, gathering the pot covers together. Yeah, hopefully you will get to use some of these things, in a very productive way, having a lot of fun with it. But let me know. Give me your thoughts on the top three places at the Olympic Games for women. Who are you thinking? And also, will we get any kind of surprise? Can we get someone just come out of the blue and find their way on the medal podium or win it all? Right? You know, will Tia Clayton get much faster than the 10.8 we saw at the Jamaica National Championships in the semifinals? Will she shock the world? Right? These are some interesting questions. I look at the list of tons of athletes around the world, and I don't really see any real shocker coming, to be honest with you. But that's why you have the events, and that's why the Olympics will unfold, and we'll get a better sense of what will happen there. That's how I'm thinking about it. But yeah, but don't let me know your thoughts on that. Put your predictions for the women's 100 meters there. But if I was really level-headed, I'm doing the prediction. I'm gonna say uh it should be Richardson, but I think I want to go with Alfred. And then I'll change these things obviously come August, early August, when we get a chance to really see what's in the legs for Sharika Jackson and even Fraser Price. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is tough. Dina is saying I really don't see Sha'carri winning the 100 meters. And a upset will happen. So you're anticipating an upset, and yeah, an upset here would mean like someone. If Jackson wins, it wouldn't be an upset for me, but that's it would be unexpected given the kind of season. Yeah, you're right. Anybody else, it should be considered an upset probably. Regis saying this prediction is a tough call. Yeah, you guys got to make your predictions though. All right, yeah, I put them in. I'll get to them in a second. I want to turn our attention, and I won't do every event tonight. I'll do my best to do as many as I can, and then we'll do another show probably tomorrow, Friday again, and see where we are. Let's talk about the men's 100 meters. The men's 100 meters. This is gonna be another cracker at the Olympic Games, and the Americans have seen victory many occasions, but they haven't seen victory in the 100 meters for 20 years now. The last time they won Olympic 100 meter title was way back in 2004 in Athens when Justin Gatlin won it ahead of the Portuguese guy. His name is slipping me right now. I'm looking at his face. And Maurice Green had come third. And Francis Obikweli. Yeah. And since then, it's been Jamaica, 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 thanks to the great man Usain Bolt. And in 2021, when we went to Tokyo, and in the absence of the great man, uh, Marcel Lamont Jacobs decided to take the gold medal. And so, again, it's been a long time. And so this time, I really think that there has been a fundamental shift. There's been a thought process that maybe it's time for USA to take it again, and everybody is going for Noah Lyles. In many circles, you're seeing this. I mean, and we must give props where it's due. He's the reigning world champion in 100 and 200 meters. But the Jamaicans are back in the party in some interesting ways. And I won't beat around the bush on this. I'll try to explain this as best as I can. I'll be honest with you. I can't see anybody else winning this but Kishane Thompson if he shows the same type of form that he showed at the Jamaica National Championships when he shut down and still managed to run 9.77. So if he does that, if he's in that kind of form or better, I don't think anyone's catching him, and he'll likely win the gold medal. I don't anticipate him having enough time to look around, but I think he should be impressive enough to do that. The question here, in terms of where the medals also go, is I think might come through Oblique Seville, which is an interesting thing. If he can regain that form, if he can deliver one of those another irreverent performance like they did at the Racers Grand Prix when he was also giving the side eye to Noah Lyles, then things could be very interesting. I don't really know what we'll get from Seville now. I mean, there's been reports since the end of the Jamaica Championships there that he felt something, and you all saw the pictures in on social media recently when he went to see the famous German doctor there. There's new reports coming out of the training camp that Glenn Mills is happy to see him back, thinks he'll be ready, but I don't know what kind of shape he'll be in. He'll be in. I suspect that if he was building on where he was the last time, it's quite possibly you could see two Jamaicans on the podium. But I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting one there. Uh, and then it comes down to the bronze medal for me. It's hard to deny Lyles off the podium. It's really hard to do that. I mean, he has the ability to chase down people. It's about an execution for him. I mean, and he looked really good last week at the London Diamond League. Lyles decided to stay home and not go to Monaco and did extra training, and he went to the Diamond League and he won really well in a top quality field that included the likes of Alessio Tobogo. And it's clearly in sub 9.8 shape for sure. So you're getting a super fast athlete as well there. But there's a lot of athletes that we have to kind of consider, and it won't be really easy for these medals, I don't think. I mean, you have the likes of a Fred Curley, Akini Sambini, Tobogo himself. I think Tobogo you shouldn't sleep on. I also think he could make his way on the podium. Then you have people like Kung Fu Kenny Bednarak. There is Ferdinand Omanyala. And then you go back to the defending champion, uh, Lamont Jacobs, who's there. He's gone sub 10 this season. I don't know if he's going to challenge in any serious way for a medal. Andre DeGrasse. I mean, there's some people there that you can't really sleep on, you know. If I had to really predict, and if I trust that Oblique Seville is in good shape, if he can be in good shape, then it's funny. I think two Jamaicans will fight nowhere on the podium this time, and I think it has to be the year for Oblique. He has to learn from not getting on the podium in the last two World Championships. But it's hard. So for me, it's probably Thompson, depending on the type of shape that Oblique finds himself in. He could be on the podium in a silver medal spot or a bronze medal spot. Maybe sandwiched by Noah Lyles, depending on what's happening there. But I don't want to. I think Tobogo could really pull a big surprise here and get on the podium. It's just really hard to know for sure. I guess we'll get to see. I also want to mention Zarnell Hughes. I didn't mention him, but I don't think he'll be back in time. He had a setback. He ran 10 flat the other day in London. I don't think he'll feature for. He'll do well to get in the final given that kind of shape. But yeah, it's interesting. It's really, really interesting here. Let me get some comments first, and then we'll go back and kind of let me think through some of these things, because every time I do this, I think about different things there. Jared is saying, if anyone not named sha'carri wins, I believe it's an upset. Yeah, I think given the season, if she doesn't win, then yeah, you'd have to go that way. I mean, I like what I see from Julian Alfred now. I think she's coming into shape. And then as I said earlier, I have to take a wait and see approach on Jackson in particular. If we see something nice during the opening rounds, the heats rather, and leading into the semifinals, then I'll think about it differently. Yeah. Dina is saying the 100 meters is for anyone. Everyone is hungry. Yeah, it's wide. It's out there. It's out there, and we'll see. Reggie, for some reason, I can't see sha'carri in the top three. Why? It's an interesting one. I mean, she. I mean, she's quick, and she's. I think she also has now the experience of a major championships last year, winning it too. Yeah, but yeah, everybody has to be at their best though, for sure. Dina, all I know that men 100 Lyles ain't winning. Okay, I think so. I think if Kishane is in great shape, then I suspect he'll take it all. Uh, Reggie's saying based on patterns over the years. Okay, okay. Dina, 2 full decades they've not won the 100 meters. It should remain that way. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. Akeem, yeah, I think prior to that, you have to go back to when, I guess you have to go back to Seoul, right? When Carl got it after Ben Johnson was disqualified. Because 92 was Linford Christie and Donovan Bailey. Yeah. And then Mo Green, sorry. My bad. My bad, Mo. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Disrespecting Mo Green. Akeem is saying Kishen will eat them food. He's aggressive runner. I don't disagree with that. I think if he gets out, then it's crazy. Jared, I got Noah winning. Yeah, I mean Noah. I just find it hard that Noah won't be on the podium, even though it could be difficult if he doesn't execute well. He's just kind of he backs up the talk too. So we'll see. Jared, Jamaica always shows up when it matters. Besides Asafa Powell. I mean, there's some others too we could put in the mix, but I don't know if I want to go down that road. I hear what you're saying. Uh, Reg is saying, what if I say Civil is the man? I mean, I would believe it. I think Oblique Civil, he was going really good earlier this season. Yeah. Yeah, Glenn Mills said, Dina saying Glenn Mills said he recovered. I saw that too, but, he missed some training, so I don't know how impactful that might be on his ability to go fast. Regis saying, I heard that Seville ran 9.72 in training. Really? Who told you that? That I would find that hard to believe because it's unlikely that he'll run 100 meters in training, though. It's gonna unless they're really doing a try. I don't see that. I don't see them doing that, right? Usually, you don't run a full 100 meters in training. It's just run different phases of the race. So, yeah. Jared is asking for the source. If that's true, it's insane. Jared, Dina saying Jared Brown, you're wrong for that. Yeah, that can't happen. I don't think you would. There won't be running 100 meters in training. Yeah. Uh, Jared is also saying Noah just walked Tobago. I really don't see Tobago beating Noah in the Olympics. Yeah, that's a lot of people are saying that too. I look at Letsile on when was it Saturday, and he he executed really good over the first part of the race, and then he didn't have any lift, literally no lift, and it made me wonder if it was a heavy week or so. But sometimes he runs like that, with no lift. I think there's some technical flaws there that they have to iron out. They can't iron that out in time for the Olympics, but he's a young kid. I think he's the future. I think he's the future to the 200-meter world record for sure. At some point, if you really want to find someone who's capable of doing it. So we'll see. Reg is saying he has Civil, Kishane, Fred Curley. So you're thinking Oblique will beat Kishane Thompson, and interesting, and Fred Curley. Fred is an interesting guy, yeah. I mean, Fred has been around for a while. He could find his way on this. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Thank you for putting in your predictions. Don't forget to put your predictions in. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate it. I'm running by myself tonight, so that's why we're not putting up anything on the screen and so on. But I appreciate it. Uh, Ashaquan is asking for the source. John is saying, John Laska is saying Tia Clayton 10.72. 10.72. I don't think anybody would be mad with that. I think, I mean, lots of talent there. I mean, you think about a Tia Clayton and you're like, okay, whatever happens, happens, right? Because they're still young. But yeah, if she can drop that, then we're talking about medals here. You should be on the podium with that. Yeah. Eric, what's going on? I can't see Tobago on the 100-meter podium. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. I wouldn't sleep on it. I mean, I wouldn't sleep on him though. I think he has the ability though. It's just execution, right? Yeah, it's just execution. We have to see. And Courtney is saying Noah went all out and still ran 9.81. Yeah, I don't anticipate. I think Lyles is in I think Lyles definitely in a sub 9.8 shape. How low from there you go, I have no idea. I think depends on conditions, obviously. I can't see Lyles going anything better than 975. I don't know if he can even go that fast. It just depends on the conditions too. But he's certainly in a sub 9.8 shape. He ran that into a slight headwind, and he should be in and around there. It's for him. It's also a matter of execution, so he doesn't want uh, to be left behind there. I think Thompson though is interesting because he really shut that down really early and run at 977. I think at that moment in time, I think he was certainly close to a very low or mid to low 9.7s. Can he run much faster than that? I don't really know. We have to be very careful how we think about those times. Only two men have ever, three men of really have gone below 9.7. You know, obviously the great man is way out there. No one's catching anywhere close to that. But Tyson Gay and Johan Blake went 969. So these are when we start to think about even low 9.7s. Those are really uh, times that's hard to reach. You could probably get a high 9.7s, mids, but when you start dropping low and is only we're talking about a handful of people capable of doing that. I'm not discounting the abilities of these gentlemen, but we all those times don't come really easily to, and when you look at some of those times too, it requires conditions to be really good. You should have good conditions in Paris unless there's a big downpour. Track will be good. It's going to be the best Mondos produce, but I don't anticipate a lot of assisted wind or a lot of tailwind. I think most wind conditions should be negligible, around zero, but we'll see. uh Let me get back to some more of these comments before we move on to some more events tonight. Uh, Jared is saying his podium is Noah 971, Kishane 973, Fred Curley 975. Interesting. Uh, Lots of photo finishing work going on there with those times. Well, yeah. We'll see. We shall see. And Jared is also saying, to be fair, he ran that in a headwind, and I think you're referring to Lyles last week. Reggie's saying, I think Omaniala has changed his coach, so any game can play. It's an interesting one. I mean, Ferdinand Omaniala never really gives you the times that look good outside of Kenya. He usually runs his best in altitude. But I also make caveats for him too, because I think Omaniala is an interesting figure. When he got the visa late for the Oregon Championships, that I think that was unfortunate. He basically arrived a few hours before the start of the 100 meters. It's out. Yeah, that's untenable. Last year, kind of iffy year. Not sure. I don't know. I mean, he has a quick time this season in altitude. We can't write him off as a potential contender for a medal, but I don't see him. But I don't see it. But that's why we run though. We'll wait. Uh, where are we? Eric is saying Taboga have stamina, but he's not a pure sprinter. Yeah, he's not. He's not the kind of sprinter that you would want. But he's still young. Uh, I have said it on numerous occasions. I don't know if they'll ever do it. I would love to see Let's see Taboga do the 2-4 double. People don't like to do that, but I believe he has the capability to do that. We've seen him push his 400-meter time down to 44.2s. He has that world best over 300 meters. I really think if I were advising Letsili, I would say skip the 100 meters at the Olympics and go straight for the 200 meters, because I think if a fresh Letsili Tobogo could win the 200 meters, and we'll get into that in a little bit. We'll definitely get into that in a little bit. Dina is saying she has Kishan, Oblique, and Noah. Yeah, in a way, I'm thinking that's how it could pan out, and I'm hoping that Oblique Seville is in great shape. Not only because I want to see him on the podium. That's not the thing. You always want athletes to be at their best or at their very best, or really good competitive shape, because the Olympics in particular, it's a once in a 4 year thing. World Championships is devastating as well, but you can come back. The way World Championships is going, we're having one every year, so next year there's a World Championships. So it's that way. It's more forgiving there, but it's the Olympics is unforgiving if you miss out for whatever reason. Winston is saying Reg is a okay. Yeah, I think you're disputing the time there. I don't. Yeah. If that's the information coming through, I would be skeptical about it, only for the reason that no one is running 100 meters in training, really. Yeah. Anna is saying, no, I missed that. Jared said, Amaliana hasn't run in a while. He may be in better shape now. Yeah, a lot of athletes have called it right. They're just going into kind of behind doors preparation, getting into great shape for the Olympics. So yeah, we will see. I mean, I think the fact that we saw such great performances at the London Diamond League in the Olympic Stadium there, you start to get a sense of where some athletes are, and we'll get to some more of that soon. And then the rest you just have to wait and see. Thanks everyone for joining, and yeah, continue to put your stuff in. I get to these comments and I'll move on. Again, we won't do every event tonight, but at least we'll get up to. I probably can get up to 5,000 tonight if we can do this well. We're just saying Benjamin 9.86 is one to also give an eye on. Interesting, the South African there, the World Junior champion there previously. He's an interesting one. I don't know what we'll get from Benjamin. I He looked good in that 986. It was a favorable wind conditions, if I remember correctly. Was it like a 1.9 or something like that? Yeah, he could surprise. He definitely could surprise. He could make go very far. I'm glad that you brought that back up, because I didn't think about that again when I was thinking about my predictions. I did see the race. We talked about it maybe a few nights ago, or a few days ago rather. But yeah, he might be one that could be in the mix. It's gonna be his first Olympics there, and what can you expect from a lad like that? But you go there, have some fun, but at the same time, if you're in the mix, then you try to take advantage of it. Anna is saying Sharika, Sha'carri, Tia, or Shelly for third, and she's saying, "Nah, give Sha'carri no winning." Okay, yeah, I hear you. And Robert is saying thanks, and thanks everyone for just for chiming in. This is really great. If Noah runs 9.71, he will not show up for the 200. Those legs will be done. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm glad that you say it. I will talk about it again. The interesting thing about that's why we say it all the time. But the great man Usain Bolt, to do what he did in 2009 is outrageous. Running 4 rounds as well. Doubling is not for the faint of heart. It's very difficult. Reggie uh, uh, has oblique, with a lot of emojis there. And Jared, I feel like Kenny will be top 4 at least. Yes, Kung Fu Kenny having a terrific season, making the American team over 2 events. Really interesting. Really, really interesting there. He could surprise. We'll see. Yeah. And Reggie said Benjamin PB is faster than Tobago. Yeah. No, that is true. That is true. I mean, but I think they're in about the same ballpark. It's just the conditions for me there. So yeah. All right. So that's where I'm thinking. I think it's if Oblique Seville is in good shape, just to close off on this, it's possible that you could have 2 Jamaicans on the podium. Then it's a matter of whether Lyles gets it to, whether we're thinking about a Tobago, whether we're thinking about, who else, Kung Fu Kenny, Fred Curley. There's a lot of people that could be in the mix. Ferdinand Omanyala. It's Can we even count out Akini Sambini? So it's interesting times, and I like the fact that we just don't have a clear cut way of saying anybody. These are the top 3 only, and that's it. There are athletes out there that, if they perform well, could find themselves in contention. All right, let's talk a little bit about, since we're on the sprints. I want to talk a little bit about the 200 meters, if you don't mind. Let's go over there for that. This is an interesting one. I mean, and we'll start with women just to get it out of the way, in terms of, Sharika Jackson. It's hard. This is a prediction now. Do we predict with Sharika Jackson, or do we go without it? Right? She's had a challenging year, and everything, I think, is based on the state of Sharika Jackson. So we'll get a good sense of that, eh, once the 100 meters is completed, and how well she runs that. If she doesn't look particularly great, then the chances of the 200 meters then probably walks out the window really quickly. But if we get anything close to what we saw from her over the last couple of years, then we're only talking about silver medals, right? Coming into this Olympics, we were anticipating only talking about a silver medal, because the woman has gone into some stratospheric times, running 21.4s on a number of occasions in very, very unfavorable wind conditions for most of the time. I just don't know what kind of shape she'll be in. And as I said, I want to see how she looks. She was cramping up most recently. Hopefully, it's nothing serious and she will be there. And if she is, I think 80%, in 85, 90%, Sharika Jackson could win this. 80 to 90% could potentially win this. Anything worse than that, and and she might be in some trouble. But if we had to just look at season form and everything else, then probably Gabby Thomas is the favorite, and she rightly probably goes in the favorite for sure. There are other athletes there to think about. Uh, will Julian Alford really do the double? I know she doesn't like 200 meters, but she should do it. Mackenzie Long is an interesting contender for a medal. You can't count out Brittany Brown either. Her efforts, her heroic efforts to make sure she made that team, was impressive. What do we get from Dina Asher-Smith? We saw her last week in London looking really good, but I don't think the requisite speed endurance from Asher-Smith is really there to finally make it on the podium, right? So it's really an interesting one. Can someone pull some surprises here? Can we get a surprise from, like, even a Lane Teva Thomas from Jamaica? And what about Favor Feely from Nigeria? I'm just not quite sure about this 200 meters at the Olympics, if I'm being honest with you. It's an interesting field. I'm a bit uneasy about it. The predictions with Gabby Thomas seem safe to win, assuming Sharika is not at our best. But I don't know if we'll see any kind of unexpected outcomes. We'll have to wait and see. I just want to make the caveat by saying, if Sharika Jackson's healthy enough, then she's winning the 200 meters, and then it's a Gabby Thomas for second, and then the rest can fight it out. But I just don't know what we'll get. What your thoughts on what's going on? Let me get some comments in here, and then let's see where we are. Let me go from the bottom up really quickly. Debbie, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Dina has. I'll get to the 200 in a second there, Dina, but you have Noah, Kenny, and Tobago. Regis saying, if Sharika is even at 70, she will hands down beat these ladies. She was ahead of Alfred during her last race, while Gabby fought so hard to beat Alfred. I take your point. You're right on some of that. I think we have to think about Gabby Thomas somewhat differently. I don't know if the fight to beat Alfred is an interesting take. Gabby sometimes sleeps in these races. I think she has some not technical. Sometimes she just doesn't show up when she's clearly better. So that race in London was, I don't even know what she was doing. I think she sleepwalked through that. However, I do take your point on Jackson and even Alfred. I mean, we'd love to see Dean Asher-Smith find a way back, but I really don't know. I really don't know. Let me go back up here and get some more of these comments, and then I can work our way through it and see where we are. Courtney's saying, I don't think I think you mean Noah will go under 19.3 in the 200 because of those rounds. I agree with you. As we've been saying, we haven't seen Lyles run faster than 19.5 since he started to double. 19.5 should be good enough, but you just never know. Reg, do you think Akeem Blake can make the final? Very interesting question there. It's a curious case of Akeem Blake. Hasn't been running the way you want him to run. I mean, but he's been running though, so we've seen him a lot. That one is a tricky one for me. I don't know. I think he has to run really. He has to execute. He has the ability. Let's put it this way: he has the ability to make the 100-meter final. But to make the 100-meter final, you really have to execute well. He has to get a really good start. He has to fight for it. He should. He had a really good early start of the season, indoor wise. I don't really know. I think he can. He should be able to make it. I think all three Jamaica. Well, clearly, I'm having a Jamaica 1-2 in my head, but I think all the Jamaicans should be able to make it to the final. The same for the U.S. athletes, but it's not. It's not straightforward. It's just not straightforward. Yeah. But you should be able to do it. Thanks everyone for joining. Don't forget to put your comments in. Make sure you put your predictions in. We'll do as many predictions tonight, and we'll come back tomorrow probably or the day after and do some more. Dina saying Sharika Gabby Alfred. That's her her predictions for the women's 200, and then obviously you have Noah. No, you have Kenny, Noah, and Tobago. Interesting. And then I did say hi to Debbie already. Thanks again, Debbie. Debbie's saying Jamaican are going. Okay, so you're saying Jamaicans will surprise, hopefully in a good way. Mind games. Debbie's saying Jamaicans are playing mind games. Sports is about mind games in a bit. And Gerard is saying, imagine if Alfred somehow doubles. Well, she'll join an elite group of women to do that. Most recently, back to back, obviously, Elaine Thompson Hero. Dina saying, I'm not seeing Gabby winning. She sleeps in the first 139 meters. Yeah, I agree. She has some issues there that if she makes some mistakes, she's in trouble. But I think when you look at the field in general, minus Fitzgerald Jackson, I do think she has the ability to take them down. I think she's definitely a 21-6 in her legs when she's in great shape. And I just don't know if the rest can get to that kind of level outside of Sharika Jackson. Jared is saying, do you think it will require 9.8 to make the final? It might be. It might be. It might take that to make the final. I think, and that's where I'm telling you, like the execution will matter. So you may have to run the best race of your life just to get into that final. And then it comes down to fitness and your ability to just turn around and do it again once more. And so when you think about an athlete like a Noah Lyles, he really wants to execute well. If he doesn't execute well, he's going to have to overwork his himself just to make sure he gets into the final. I mean, I anticipate he'll do it, but how do you do it and then feel be in good shape? But he's extremely fit. I look at people who may not run the rounds well. If you're not doing that, then you end up in some interesting things. And we should not underestimate the ability to run rounds and understand how to run it. It comes with some experience as well. I mean, I think Fraser. I know we're talking about the men, but think about Fraser Price. Her execution through rounds is just like it's amazing, right? But that comes with years of experience. So for some athletes, that's a challenge now for the likes of, say, a Tia Clayton now being in that space for the first time. How can you just do the you do enough to make sure that you don't go over what's required because you may need that extra energy for the next 2 days, which is a semifinal and a final. So that's the kind of question. Clive is saying, I think Shelley will win the gold in 100 meters. That's really an interesting take there. I wouldn't be mad at that. That would be outrageous if that were to happen too, and just one of the greatest things that we'll ever see. It would come on the backs of what, 12 years later, is it? Or some 10 years? Yeah, it would be 12 years later, right? It's just I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen any evidence that that can happen. But I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't be mad at that. But I, it just it's hard to see that. Anna, I want your thought. What? Oh, you want thoughts on the different legs of the 4x1? Haven't given that much thought yet. I will I think that was I didn't plan to do it tonight. I thought a little bit about it, but uh yeah, I'll think through some more, and then maybe if we get to it, if we don't get to it tonight, we'll do it tomorrow. So Kerry Williams, what about the reigning 100-meter champ from Italy? Yeah, so Jacobs, he's there. I mean, this is the first time we're gonna see Lamont Jacobs at a major championship since he won in Tokyo healthy. I don't know what shape you'll get from him. He's done a 992 this season. He's run some races where he's finishing healthy. He doesn't exhibit any signs of injuries. Just execution was his issue. We'll see. But he's there. He's there. He's there to defend his title. I mean, he knows how to win it. So, well, it's a super long shot for me if Marcel Jacobs were to even make it on the podium, to be honest with you, or even make the final. However, we have to respect people who've done these things before. So we'll see. Brian, my man, how you doing? Good evening. Hopefully you're well. Yeah, these comments keep rolling and really appreciate it. Dina, if Alfred don't medal in the 100 meters, she's gonna do it in the 200. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think she'll be upset if she doesn't medal in the 100 meters. I think Julie and Alfred should find a way on that 100-meter podium, if not on the top of it. And Jared, Noah, Kenny, Tobogo. We'll get to that. Yeah, I'm going to get it in a second. Rock Hill is saying USA will sweep the 200 meters. That's really interesting there. All right, let me let me get a few. Let me get the men's up out of the way first because I just did the women, and then I'll come back to some of these because some of the comments are connected to the men's, right? So let's be honest, the men's 200 meters at the Olympics is being built, especially here in the United States, to be a coronation for Noah Lyles. If he were to win it, then he would now put himself in an extremely elite category because now he has all these world championships. He's gone, what, third fastest of all time as well. So he starts to be in that conversation there. It's not the boat conversation, but he's definitely right behind it, right? And a lot of people have Noah Lyles winning this 200 meters quite comfortably. But I've been giving a lot of thought to this. We've talked about what it takes to run 100 meters and 200 meters at a major championships and what that means for his performance. And although the data points are very low, ever since he started to do this double, he's not run faster than 19.5 in a major championships. I mean, even if you were to include the US championships just recently concluded, which could be just the way I'm interpreting it, but it may not mean anything, but it also may mean that the doubling is a hard thing to do. And clearly, he's going to probably come to the Olympics in much better condition than he was at the US trials. We just saw him looking really good in London last week. So we shouldn't anticipate otherwise. And so betting against Lyles almost seems foolish, right? But to be honest with you, Anna, I'm preparing to put myself in the category of maybe looking foolish. So I like to say, my track record on predictions, they're fairly good. I mean, sometimes I get them right, sometimes I don't, but that's how it goes with the prediction stuff. Well, I have this funny feeling that he may not win it if he has to exert himself really hard in the 100 meters. But the only saving grace of that is that the athletes that I think are capable of beating Noah Lyles over 200 meters are actually doing the same thing as him. So that probably negates my thinking on it, because Kung Fu Kenny will run 1-2 for the first time ever. Let's see, Littlebogo will also do the double. And so those are the two individuals that I think are most capable of beating a Noah Lyles were he not to be as fresh as he needs to be to win the gold medal. But I'm not 100% sure. I really think the guy sitting in waiting here would potentially be a Aaron Knighton, right? But I don't know how quick Knighton will be. He's had an interesting season. He didn't run until the U.S. National Championships, and we know why. He returned an adverse analytic finding and was cleared by the independent USADA committee. And his explanation for contaminated beef was that, or meat rather, was accepted. We'll see. So he's only run at the U.S. Championships and run last week at the Holloway American Track League meeting. So if he was in a 19.4 shape, then you could anticipate just waiting in the wings because he should be the freshest. That's what I would say there. Yeah. So I don't know, and I don't know what you'll get from a DeGrasse either. I, I think maybe we're getting too far away from what Andre DeGrasse is capable of doing. So I'm like talking through this, and then I'm wondering maybe Noah will win it all anyway. But I just have this funny feeling that Tibogo could do something. And if Letsili were to just forego the 100 meters, then I think he stands a much better chance of winning this. But we'll see. Let me get to some comments, and we'll. Oh, lots of comments coming here. And then we can unpack some of these things. Let's see. What did I miss out here? Sorry about that. I'm going to get to your comments here. Dina saying, I'm not. Okay, yeah, I did get to that. Oh, you and Dino was saying in order for I think you're saying Akeem to make the final, he will have to go 9.8 possibly. Uh, Anna is saying oh yeah, I did. I'll talk about it later. What about yeah, we did get to that. Sorry, I think I flew the comments in a bad way here. Okay, so I think I left on run. Rock Hill said the US will sweep the 200 meters. I just don't see that. Rock Hill, I think it's possible, but I think let's see, Toboga will get a medal in the 200 meters. Anna is going with Sharika for 200. Rocky is saying Toboga can beat Knighton. I don't know about that, to be honest with you. Yeah. And I think Jared is saying Knighton will get fourth again. Reggie is saying the only U.S. athlete I'm very concerned about is the 100-meter female that came second in the trials. You mean Jefferson and Grant Holloway. Hot take: I got Noah breaking the world record in the 200 in the 200 finals. Jared, you know I like you a lot, but you know what it takes to break the 200-meter world record? He pretty much has to run almost 3 meters faster than he ran in Oregon. My hot take is that the world record over 200 meters, if it eventually gets broken, will not happen at the major championships. Unless that athlete only runs one event. I think it's going to happen on a Diamond League circuit or something like that. I just can't see that, honestly. Rocky is saying Fred is coming back with a vengeance. Looks that way. We'll see what we get from him. I mean, he had to fight for his whole career there, even to get sponsorship again. Having had that bust up with his sponsorship. Reggie saying Jacobs ran 9:95 before the last Olympics, and this year ran 9:92. Is this telling of something? I don't know. I mean, I think no one expected Marcel Jacobs to do anything at the last Olympics, so I can't. I'm not sure. You're talking about 3 years later to also an athlete that suffered some injuries and is finding his way back. It's very hard to make a sense of those two time stamps and those times. We'd have to go back and know if they were what kind of conditions they were in. It's just not. I don't think it's possible. Uh, Ryan is saying, Rockhill, you're still alive. I guess you guys are friends. Chris Ellison Pierre has a chance. Chris, I want to do. I have the. I have that up. I don't know if I'll get to it tonight because with all these comments, and I do like to get in the comments to make sure everyone gets a chance. I don't have Ellie St. Pierre medaling in the 1500 meters. So, yeah. But we'll get to that. Courtney's saying Noah will break the world record. He has. Oh, Courtney's saying Noah will not break the world record, and for the 200 meters, he has to do 1926 first. Yeah, I think you have to think about the Johan Blake stuff before you get to the Bolt thing. I'm not saying he can't break it. I just don't see it happening at the Olympic Games. Debbie has Tobago, Noah, then Kenny. That's how I'm thinking too, Debbie. But maybe it's just. But when I think about it more, the analysis that I'm making breaks down because Tobago, Noah, and Kenny are all doubling, and so they should find themselves in similar kind of condition in terms of fatigue or anything like that. Yeah, yeah. And then Reggie saying, I think greed will choke Noah. Interesting. Explain that. Uh, Rockhill, Dina saying Rockhill Tobago already beat Knighton. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. And Debbie's saying 100 meters Kishane oblique Noah. Yeah, that could happen. I could see that. I'm just hoping that he'll be in good shape. That's oblique. That is, you know. Jared is saying if Tobago or Knighton don't make the fight, well, Knighton is not in 100 meters, so okay, yeah. But if Tobago doesn't make the 100-meter final, he'll be fresher than Noah. I can't see him not making the final unless he poorly executes. Debbie's also saying the USA won't sweep. Yeah, I don't see a sweep there either. Yeah, and Resilient says Kishane oblique Noah Lyles. I like it. Uh, DeGrasse. I like DeGrasse. I would like for him to do an upset in the 200 meters like he did in 2021. Dina is saying that. Yeah, DeGrasse is a big time championship performer. It's just that he's getting a bit older now, so I'm not quite sure. New Zealand has Nikisha Price for the 400-meter gold medal. I'll get to that. I'll get to some of these things. Barry's saying Jamaica always produce a shock medalist in most major championships. Shelley 2008, Parchment 2020, Daniel 2023, Bridget 2009. That's true. Gail, yeah, Gail did that. Even last year, Antonio Watson. I mean, there's, even Daniel Williams again last year. I mean, I think even the first time Daniel did this in what, 20, was it 15? That was a shocker too, I think. Yeah, yeah, that's not a bad. That's a good call. Uh, Courtney saying Noah says he wants 4 medals, 4 gold medals in Paris. Is that possible? That's greedy in my opinion. Well, it's possible. I don't know if it will happen though. I He could get 3 out of the 4, but of course the other two relies on relay. I think the relay in the 400, the 4x4. There's obviously a lot of people upset about the constitution of the US 4x4 team, but that's politics there too. The 4x1, they should win that comfortably, except you have to get the baton around, so the execution matters. I think his best chance, obviously, for goal would be 200 meters because he doesn't lose really. 100 meters is going to be tough. Either way, it's going to be tough. If he wins it, it would be a hard win either. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you have to be ambitious. Athletes often try to be ambitious. Sometimes you don't know why. Look at last Olympics. Sifan Hassan tried the 15 to 10,000 meter events. She fell in the 15, but she eventually medaled still, and she won the other two. And this time she's doing the same thing plus the marathon, but I think this is a different type of Sifan Hassan. That won't happen. In terms of the medaling on the track would be very difficult for her this time. Gudaf Sagai could have, potentially try the same stuff here too, but so yeah, I'm saying all of that to say that sometimes you have to do things. I think we also have to remember there's a bigger storyline around people like Lyles and others where they're trying to make a space for them to accomplish things that will set them apart or allow for a wider audience to tap into some of the frenzy. Some of that may not necessarily apply to hardcore track and field fans. Some to grow the sport. So I'm not particularly upset when an athlete sets themselves some form of a big accomplishment. I also think the modern athlete doesn't do a lot of things that they could still do. You think about, we have now gone where we're not seeing people do the long jump and the 100 meters anymore. And I think it's still possible. I mean, you run the risk of a lot more injury, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. So that's kind of a thing there. Let's see where we are here. Marion is saying I just love the intensity of the game. Maybe I missed that in response to something there. Yeah, so there's a lot of comments coming in. Don't keep them coming. Marion's also said there's gonna be a major upset in the Olympics this year. Well, yeah, tell us. Let's get it on record. I agree with you. I think we'll get some upsets. We want to do it. Yeah. And then and then she's also praying for Jamaican athletes to do well. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be fire. All right. So let me get back to some more predictions, and we'll continue for tonight. I'll see as many as we can do on the live tonight, and then come back to do tomorrow. Let's go to. So yeah, let me end the 200. Part of me feels Tobago will win, but I think it's probably Lyles, Tobago, and Kung Fu Kenny or so. It should be those three in some order. All right, let's talk about women's 400 meters. Really interesting space. Really, really interesting space. What a year for the women's 400 meters. Clearly, we're going to get a new champion, as Shauna Miller-Weber won't be able to go for 3 in a row due to obviously having injuries this year, and also coming back from giving birth. So we'll definitely get a new champion here. Currently, the world leader is Jamaica's Nikisha Price, 48.57. Earlier, she had the world lead that Sydney McLaughlin took down, and she reclaimed the world lead at the London Diamond League just last week. And I want to stick a pin a little bit on Nikisha Price and get back to her, because I think she's an interesting athlete, very special, a bright future ahead. We've also seen some really great performances this year from the likes of a Kazmarek, who's already gone 48.90 this season. There is Rashidat Adalike, I think, really interesting in the mix. I think an athlete that is capable of pulling up trees from 1 to 4. She's done a 49.07 when she ran that at I think, the European Championships. And the athlete in my mind also that I feel is still the favorite, hasn't really approached a sub 49 yet, and that's Paulina from the Dominican Republic. I think she's gone what, 49.20, but I really think she has what it takes, the experience. We'll get to her again in a second. Then there's a bunch of other women that's making the 400 meters this year really interesting for me too. As usual, the likes of Alika Klava, there's Amber Anning. You can also count out the Americans. They're coming back. You had Kendall Ellis who ran that. What she ran 49.46 at their championships. Alexis Holmes, experience, kind of big time performer as well. There's Butler. You know, and then, you even saw this year the trending down of the world champion from Doha, Nasa. So it's really an interesting mix. It's really an interesting mix. And in my mind, I still feel like there's something that Paulina will do. I mean, she runs for a country that also very small in terms of the competitive nature to make a team. So she can set up her season somewhat differently as well. I think she has what it takes to go sub 49 for sure. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Nikisha Price. And the reason why I've said it, and I've talked about it on the channel as well, is that I'm always a bit nervous about athletes who do a full collegiate season and then we expect them to deliver at a major championships afterwards. It doesn't happen a lot, because it's a long season. But what we saw from Nikisha in London dispels any kind of concerns for me right now. I think she is probably rested in a very good way. And now she's gone another national record, obviously, sub 49 again. And in a way, we really should be putting her as the favorite. I feel like I really should be calling her the favorite going into this championship. I mean, she's been winning all season. She has that mentality there as well. It's tough. I should have her as a favorite. In my mind, I don't know. I feel like Adelike will get on the podium too. I feel it's going to be probably Paulina, Price, Adelike, Kazmarek just in and around the mix as well. But the one thing that I really am happy about when we think about women's 400 meters is that we might end up with a final where 5 or 6 women are capable of approaching sub 49 seconds in an Olympic final. And that is, to me, a really, really good thing for the sport. Let me know your thoughts on that. I mean, I still haven't fully said it, but I'll say it. I'll finish it up when I'm done. I saw Robert's comment there. Let me get to that immediately. He did say that. A lot of athletes say that. A lot of coaches say that. Dennis Schaefer said that too for Brianna Liston. But I mean, like, in fairness, Liston got hurt, so I should take that back. But athletes say that a lot. Liebert, how you doing? Says Paulina will use her experience and win, and that's what I think too. I think Paulina has what it takes to win at that level. It's not easy, but she has the experience. Yeah, I just don't know. I think I'm just getting a quick message here. Let me just send that in. Yeah. And yeah, I will see. Let me get back to some of these comments here so I didn't miss them. I think Marian had said Kishane for the 100. That's good. Courtney is saying Price, Paulina, and Kazmarek. I think you're saying here. Courtney saying Adelike. I have Adelike there as well. I think she'll do something special. I just think that this year is a year for a bunch of coach flow athletes, and we shouldn't really count that out. Resilient is saying, no, I will never be the fastest. That's a guaranteed. Okay. Anna is saying we getting a medal in the 400. I'm not going with Price for silver. Oh, you are going with Price for silver. I apologize. I read that differently. Wayne, what's going on? Uh, Paulina is a more seasoned athlete and should win over Price. Courtney has NASA. Yeah, NASA. Where on the podium do you have NASA? On the top or medaling? I think she's trending down in the right direction. I don't know if that's going to get her on top. Thanks again for liking the video, guys. Resilient is saying, what about Nikisha Price? She's been doing a tremendous job recently. Her performance is up to par. I think she has what it takes to take the gold medal home without, I guess you're saying, a doubt. I think so too. I mean, as the more I'm thinking, I'm talking through it, we should say Nikisha should go into the Olympics as the favorite. I mean, she has the time. She's gone sub 49 on 2 occasions, fastest time in the world. She knows how to run it. I mean, and she's battle tested in many ways because that Arkansas 400-meter team is ridiculous. All of those women there on any given day could have won the national championships. And so she's training with some of the very hottest talented athletes at the time. Yeah, she should go in as favorites, but I think Paulina has a gear or two up on her as well. So I'm confident that Price will find a way on the podium, but then we also have to give grace for like going into a first World Olympics and what that might mean. So we'll see. I think Marion says the word is consistency, uh, maybe in reference to something else. Brian is saying no mention of my countrywoman Sada Williams. Don't sleep on her. She knows, she knows she needs to step up, and I think she will. Yeah, thanks for bringing that out, Brian. Stephen Francis, coach too, coached by Stephen Francis. Like Sada, she's last year. Sada should never find her way anywhere close to medal podiums, and she does. She has that steely personality, so we should always remember that. Yeah, I'm doing a wait and see on her as well. I want to see what we get through the rounds, but she's very capable. She has to go sub 49 for me though, and that's interesting. I really think that you're gonna find a bunch of women going sub 49. Depending on conditions, obviously, but I think with the capability of going sub 49. And Robert said, yeah, we did talk about that. Liebert is saying Paulina will use her experience. Yeah. Winston, I know why you don't have confidence in Price to win. I guess that's an internal chat. Barry is saying Price leg turnover does not slow in the last 100. She has more in the tank. She will run close to 48 flat. Interesting. Interesting. To go to 48 flat is another meters there, right? Or more. We'll see. Has to have it in the tank, right? Like you got to run the rounds, yeah. But if she has that in her, then if she can run 48 flat, then she's gonna win the gold medal hands down. But we'll see. Mr. saying 100-meter Kishan oblique and Fred for third. I guess you're saying he has unfinished business. Bob, how are you? Amaniala won't medal. Yeah, Amaniala is interesting. Reggie saying, I think Adalika is the spoiler. Jared, don't sleep on Paulina. No one should sleep on Paulina for sure. I think she's the favorite regardless of. She will start favorite for me regardless of the time from Price. But Price by right should be going in there with with thinking that she should be able to win it. Courtney saying Price has more in the tank, referring to Price. Okay, that was the earlier thing there. Robert, Price is fearless, smooth, maintains her form. Paulina, the silver, Price, the gold. Yeah, Paulina is a little bit more ragged of a runner there. Uh, it's interesting how Nikisha can run that well, and you have to think that she she still has more bulk to put on to as well. This is crazy. Jared, any chance of 4760 get? No. Uh, I don't want to get in trouble tonight again. That's not a world record. Let's be real. That Morita Koch record, it's not really the world record. It is on the books as the world record, but you know, well, I'll leave it at that. No, no way that anyone can run that. That's not. No one is capable of doing that. Not in. I don't think not in our lifetime. Uh, and Marin, I wonder what the winning time for the men's 100 is. Uh, for the men's 100, you're predicting 9.76. Could be. Could be. I think for sure you will. I think you're gonna have at least three men capable of running sub 9.8s for sure in terms of shape wise. Will they get that conditions to execute that time is a different story, but I do think we should have that there there for sure. Eric Paulina PB 4876 was a year ago. She ran slower since and sparingly. Yeah, no, I do. I agree. I think Paulina. Look, what Nikisha did is outrageous. I'm not gonna lie on it, and I'm not sleeping on it, and and I'm probably convincing myself that she starts the favorites. But I just feel like Paulina has a kind of steely touch. She knows how to win. She's not fearless, but I think she'll run into something that she hasn't seen since Shawnee, in the sense that she has to be much smoother coming home than she normally is. She can't afford to run the race and not execute well. Otherwise, Price will just eat eat her up because she's much more efficient as a runner. That's how I would think about it. Dina, Paulina run and rock like them old time rocking share. Yeah, that's true. The 400-meter record should be removed according to Dina. I agree with that. If we could do a petition to World Athletics, I'll sign it 40 times or 40.67 times or whatever. Courtney, they say the Paris track is fast, so anything can happen. It is. I should. We have a video that's supposed to come out on the speed of the track. Unfortunately, we've been having some issues with getting certain things out. Uh, I'm trying to find the piece of the track. I always have a. I don't know where I put it, but yeah. I know I do this sometimes, so it's not going to be the first time for some of you. But yeah, here's a piece of the purple track that all the athletes will be running on Paris. Yeah, when I was there, I got Mondo was laying it, and I got a chance to get a piece of it. Yeah, this is the best track that Mondo has made. They have redesigned it based on athlete input and also, let's say, AI and all of that kind of stuff. The thing that they've improved over the Tokyo track, which was a really fast track too, and all these tracks are fast, so we have to be careful when we think about what that really means, is that the traction control in it is much better. So like, Mondo tracks are dual layer. They have, top piece, shock absorber in the bottom. A number of other tracks are just built up on each other. So like, if you think about track on in Oregon. I think it's Benton Sports. I can't remember the guys who do that one, but are the ones that like the German guys make that Usain Bolt run, and they build them up on the when they get there, just layer. Mondo just comes in and they roll because they build everything in Turin, and then they bring it out and they do a dual layer thing. It's just kind of I guess a variation on how they do stuff. The thing that they're saying is better. Why they think it's going to be faster is that any point at which the athlete puts their foot on the track, they don't have to make any adjustments. So the slip resistance is much easier, and that will allow them to, once they put the pressure in, the forward motion will just go. But I don't know. That doesn't mean you're going to see a lot of records, though. They're anticipating that. That's why I always say, and I guess if we ever put the video, hopefully before the Olympics starts, is Stade de France is an enclosed stadium in the sense that there's no open space there for breeze to come in. And some of these records require a good tailwind. And if you're not getting them, you're not gonna run. You just can't do it. So I don't know. Yeah. I really don't know what I hope I'm wrong, but I can't see if they're gonna be I can't see tremendous amount of records on the track. But I could be wrong though. Yeah. Uh Eric, why do you always think price needs to be bigger? I don't think so. Have you seen price? Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, she doesn't have to be bigger, but I feel yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, but when you look at her, you think she can be, right? I'm not saying like massive, because you don't want to be massive, but yeah. Yeah. But no, yeah, she is I think she's over her explosiveness is better than we can see. It's not a I think it's more of a genetic thing on her in terms of how she looks. Yeah. Uh yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's we just did women's 400 meters there. Let me get to men. I really appreciate everybody on live. We're almost an hour and a half in, and we're not anywhere close to doing all of these Olympic predictions here, but that's great because you guys are always on top of stuff. Let's talk about the men's 400 meters. The men's 400 meters is also going to be really interesting for me. I think it's shaping up really quite nicely with the two impressive runs now from Quincy and from Matthew Hudson Smith, right? So we definitely have the Olympic champion back, Stephen Gardner, but he hasn't done anything yet that I'm made me feel comfortable that he should start favorites. The best he's done this season is the 44:39, I believe, that he ran at was it Ostrava on the Continental Tour, and the Golden Spikes meet. And then he ran another race where he didn't look that great in the last 100 meters. So I think there's some work to be done there. But a Stephen Gardner in great shape should find his way on the podium, could win it all. But I don't really know if he'll get to that point. We don't have the evidence for it. It's really a peculiar season because we hadn't gotten any sub 44s until just the last 2 weeks. So we got something from Quincy Hall, 4380 in Monaco, and he's a swimmer. He swims all over the place in the end, so he needs to tighten up on that. And then Matthew Hudson Smith doing the era record and so on, running 43:74. So now we have two athletes who have just positioned themselves in the mix in a really interesting way. Hudson Smith is an athlete that thrives off confidence. He says when he's healthy, he's ready to take on everybody. He would be upset about the way in which he lost that gold medal last year at the World Championships in Budapest when Antonio Watson beat him. So he goes into this as one of the favorites for the medals, I think. The question also for me is what's happening to a Michael Norman find his way back to his real event. Thought he would have done much better at the US National Championships. He didn't. Is he in the mix for something there? What about the elder statesman for 400-meter running, Karani James? Can he spring a surprise and get back on the podium? Or is it now a step too far for him? Yeah. There's the Canadian kid, Morales Williams. I don't know if he's going to do much this season. So it's an interesting space for the 400 meters. I think with those three guys in particular, now, Quincy Hall and Matthew Hudson Smith and then Stephen Gardner. I mean, maybe I think that's where the medals may go, but people could pull surprises here. Yeah. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me see. Eric P saying the Energizer Bunny is always awesome for now and the future. Carrying less weight is important. Yeah. Resilient is laughing at this. I'm not gonna get into those things. Courtney is saying Hudson Smith, Quincy, and then Gardner. Yeah, that's how I'm thinking it might end up. I just know that the experience is there for Stephen Gardner. If he really can find form, he's capable of winning it all. But we haven't seen a sub 44 from him, and by now he would have run one of those at least once or twice in a season. So clearly, coming back from the injury setbacks, it's a wait and see approach for me with him. But with these new guys, these two guys finding their way below 44 seconds, you have to think they may be in the mix. What about Norman? Anybody think Michael Norman can do something? It's interesting. Uh, and I think Anna was just responding to Winston here, so I'll just leave that. Yeah, so that's where we are for the men's 400 meters. So yeah, put your thoughts in and let me know your thoughts on where you think those medals will go. And I'll get to them. I'll do a few more. I mean, because we have time, and then we can come back tomorrow again. Let's go to 800 meters. Men's 800 meters. Let's start with the men. And I got to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to the 800 meters more than many events at the World Championships, both men and women in particular. Even the absence of Athing Mo for the women, but I'll talk about that in a second. Men's 800 meters. What in the world is happening in these past few weeks? We're talking about some serious running here. I think the event is borderlining getting on ridiculous, and I don't really know how to even think about some of the stuff that we've been seeing. And I really honestly feel that we are at a tipping point where the David Rudisha records could go. I really think that it could go. It may not go in the Olympics because races at the Olympics are much more tactical. There are no pacemakers. There are no wave light technology. But we're getting a few men running sub 42 seconds, and that's not normal. And so we have Sedrati, who I think starts favorites for me now because he's gone. He has a best of what 141, 46 this season, but he's gone sub 142 on a couple of occasions as well. Uh, Before Sedrati beat Emmanuel Wanyoni, I thought he was gonna be the one to be the outright favorite because Wanyoni had run that super time, the 141 in altitude, which is, if you do calculations, some people think that's better than what Rhodesia did in London or so. But that's neither here or there. And he's there too, capable of running much faster, younger as well. There's a Frenchman, Gabriel Toile. He's gone 141 as well, right? 141.61. In Paris, that Paris Diamond League where all of those guys were when Wanyoni and Sadrati were neck and neck. It's just it's special type of place now for 800 meters. And then we can't forget the Frenchman will be on home soil. That can also be an important thing in terms of giving him an additional boost. It could also create a lot of pressure too, but it's out there. And we haven't seen anything special yet from the world champion Marco Arop. He was in the last the race recently where he got run out of it. I don't know if he'll find form, but he has to go sub 142 to be in the mix. This is the standard now. And then you got a couple of Americans there, Bryce Hoppel, Hobbs Kessler. Can they do something? There's that other, there's Kinimal. I don't know. I think this 800 meters is gonna be one of the highlights of the Olympics. You gotta be on it. Don't sleep on this. We may get a world record because going into a race where you have three guys that can run sub 42, and a few of them have done it multiple times already. We're talking about all-time lists here. We're talking about the 140 range, obviously from Rhodesia. We're talking about Wilson Kipketer. These are different class of guy running that we've seen in the last few weeks. So I don't know what to say. I feel like Sedrati will win it ahead of Wanioni. Not quite sure where third place will go, but I can't count out the French guy. He's on home soil. Outrageous. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me get back to some of the comments here. Probably coming in. Robert had said bold prediction. Let me just finish up this one. He said bold prediction: Gardner will win the goal. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be shocked though if Stephen Gardner won it. But given the fact that he hasn't approached a sub 44 yet, I suppose it would be interesting there, Robert. Resilience and everyone in the chat, remember to like the live. All it takes is a click on the. Oh, thank you very much for saying that. Really, thank you. Courtney is saying Algeria men will win. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's. I think, and you mean, and you talk. Yeah, Sedrati is special, and yeah, but I think it's gonna be uh an interesting thing there. Okay, I was just getting a message from my wife there. She's stuck on a tarmac, can't get in, waiting to take off. Anyway, Jared is saying I haven't heard from Gardner all year. He has run a few races. He's won a couple races on the Diamond League. There's a not Diamond on the Continental Tour too. There's one where Alexander Doom was running him down at the end. I mean, Steven is there. He's ran some few races, so he's not out of shape. I don't think. I just think his best is what 44.3 this year. I mean, I think 44.3 can get you on the medal podium regardless. It's just whether or not he'll do it, and how can he manage the rounds given that he's coming back from injury. So that's where we have to think about. So yeah, those are my 800 meters for men. Let's talk about women, because this is it's on fire. The women's 800 meters is one of the most hotly contested races in all of track and field. It's going to be massive, fireworks everywhere in the absence of Athingmu as well. I'm not going to beat around the bush on this. I'll do some analysis here, but I am very confident at this stage. I'll be honest with you. I thought about it early, and I think there's no one beating Keely Hodgkinson. When a person can run 154.61, that's outrageous there. That's extremely elite category. And I feel like she has enough to win this race. She may not be the best tactically in an 800-meter race. I think that goes to Mary Mora. The Kenyan is better tactician over 800 meters than everybody else. But there's a point where tactics goes out the way when someone is capable of running 154. And if you're not capable of hanging with those types of kind of times, then I don't care how you manage running the first 400 meters, you're just going to get left behind here. And I don't really know what to say. I don't think anyone can overcome Keely right now. She's really in great shape. That race that we saw in London, a bunch of women were running really fast. I mean, the likes of Gemma Rike too. Can she find her way on the podium? All season long, we had the South African Prudence Segadiso doing really well. She too can be there. Former world champion as well. Nakai could be in the mix. It's one of those races, but I just think it's going to be Hutchinson for me, probably Mary Mora for Silva. I have a feeling Prudence might find her way on the podium, but you just can't count out Gemma Riki either. Maybe even Nina Atkins from the United States, the French woman as well, Lamotte. She could be in and around the medal podium as well. One thing for sure is that I believe you have to be in a 155 shape to be certain that you can find your way on the podium. You may not have to run it, but you need to be in that kind of shape. And we may end up in a situation where you have people running 156 flat and they're not seen anywhere close to the podium. And that's really a testament to how the event has taken on new life in recent times. and also, yeah, thinking about women today running times that we saw in years gone by, where people were either in programs that were artificially inflating their performances via either government stuff or otherwise. But it's great. Women's 800-meter great. I think you don't want to miss that. I think it's just going to be outrageous. Let me get back to some of the comments here and see where we are. Courtney's saying, I'm predicting Keely from GB will win. Yeah, I think so. What? What's up with you, Amber? Why you mean I'm dishonest with my audience outside Jamaica? I mean, you find that I'm picking Julian Alfred. I think sha'carri should start favorite, but I mean, I like what I see from Julian Alfred too. I mean, like it's not an indictment on Richards or anybody. If we're gonna be, yeah, I think Richards should start favorites because of what we've seen. But I like what I'm seeing also from Julian Alfred, and also what I'm hearing about the preparation as well. I mean, I could be totally wrong here. I mean, this it's not a big deal. Unstoppable Record is saying, I'm very excited about this year's Olympics. We going home with a lot of medals. I, I who is we? Yeah. Uh, I don't know how long you've been following track and field, but fairness is not. I live in America anyway, so I don't know what you're talking about. But two, also, fairness is not. That's not how it works. I mean, like, have you ever seen commentary from the 80s, 90s? Yeah, I don't know how old you are or anything like that. I'm not, this is not how it works, Yeah. And you're free to make your own predictions. Everybody's free to pick your own predictions. I said I think she starts favorite. It doesn't mean that she has to win. I mean, I think she could. I think she might win. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I can't say I think Julian Alfred could find a way to win. I don't think it's that clear cut in my estimation, but it could be. Yeah. You know, I don't know what shape she'll find herself in. Yeah, we'll see. But I like when you come on. I'm not gonna stop you from saying anything as long as you keep it clean. You believe me. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely see what's going on. It's she I people shouldn't get bent out of shape if we don't think certain athletes wouldn't win. I mean, like, that's how it works. I mean, prediction, you get a chance to predict who you want sometimes. Uh I think if she doesn't win, i she has a lot of questions to answer. Richards, that's it. Because she goes there with the fastest time in the world, and yeah, we'll see. And the pressure should be easier in the sense that I don't particularly think she would be worried about athletes who have not done it at the highest level yet. But if Jackson was fit and healthy, then she should worry. But we don't know what kind of Jackson you'll get yet. So she should feel like she's gonna walk with it. But I think if what we have seen and what I'm hearing about Julian Alfred, I think she's setting up herself nicely, and I think she's very much capable of going very low 10-7s and potentially going under 10-7s, from what I'm hearing. But I mean, hearing is one thing; we still have to see. Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. All right, cool. Glad that you're here. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we all disagree from time to time. No hard feelings, and so on. All right. So we've just wrapped up the 800 meters there. Don't make sure you put your predictions for men and women there as well. And if you agree or disagree, I'll get them on the screen. I'll do a few more before we wrap up tonight. because we're almost getting 2 hours into the live, and I know I don't want to keep all of you guys here too long, and I'll come back probably tomorrow and do some more. Let's get to. Let me do 400-meter hurdles. Let's do this one. Uh, the big three are the only ones, in my estimation, capable of getting medals. We're talking about Varham, Rai Benjamin, Alison DeSantis. Those are the big three over men's 400-meter hurdles. I am not sure if anyone else in the field is capable of going sub 47. If you're not capable of going sub 47, I am not quite sure you have any chance of getting anywhere close to the medals. And this is in a field of really great athletes around the world. You think of a Kyron McMaster who made his way on a medal podium eventually. He's really talented. Rashawn Clark from Jamaica, Malik James King, CJ Allen from the United States. There are a bunch of really top class athletes that, on any given, you take it into a different era, they would have medaled or won Olympics or world championships. It's just not happening this time because uh, the likes of Varham, Benjamin, DeSantis have taken this thing to another height. At this stage, Rai Benjamin comes into the Olympics in the best shape, probably the best shape of his life. He's clocked a 46.62. He's taken DeSantis world lead. DeSantis retook it, and Benjamin took it again. Then all of those guys lined up the other day in Monaco, and Benjamin won. And DeSantis, Varham has gone 40 what 46, 70 and 46. I think, yeah, he's in the 46-70 twice or something like that, and he hasn't won against the big three yet. Benjamin beat him. DeSantis beat him in Oslo on home turf, and it's really a hard call, to be honest with you, because it's not hard. I'll make the call in a second. I think Karsten is now waning a little bit. He's not as strong as he used to be. He suffered from injuries, obviously. He has some weaknesses, which I think the way they coach, they won't fix. He still goes out too hard for my liking, and he's now struggling over the last few hurdles. He's always struggled over the last few hurdles, but now when the others are catching up on him, it's a bit more apparent. DeSantis in the last couple of races hasn't gone below 47 seconds. I'm not quite sure if we should read into that. It may just be, he's taking it down a bit to come back for the Olympic Games. But if I had to go on current form right now, I would say Rai Benjamin should win the gold medal, Alison DeSantis for the silver, and Karsten Varham for the bronze. But it could go anyway. It could go any direction because those guys are just outrageously good. But if I'm going to stick my neck out, finally, I'm going to say Rai Benjamin goes in with the best shape. He should win it. If he does not win it, then the accusations that's been labeled against him in previous years, he will not be able to fight that off. That's all I have to say there when it comes to Benjamin. I have a lot of time for Rai Benjamin. I like him. I grew up watching his dad as a big time cricketer out of Antigua there, when he played for the West Indies. So there is, no animosity, and I don't want to call out any kind of highlighting any kind of weaknesses, which I don't think his weaknesses is necessarily on the track. So Benjamin for me, DeSantis silver, Varham bronze, but it could go anywhere. And I just don't think the rest will have enough to get there. I don't know if someone else can introduce themselves to the sub 47 club. If we were to get that in a final from somebody else, then it's perhaps possible. But I don't think it's just good enough to go like 46-9. I think you have to be going 46 mids and low to be confident that you can make it on that podium. Your thoughts, guys? Uh, let's see where we are. Courtney's saying anything can happen in any race on the day of the event. Okay. Let's see. CJ are saying I don't think she'll medal. Love her, but don't see it. Maybe I'm missing. Oh, you meant Fraser Price. Yeah, I think it's probably a step too far for Fraser Price now. I've never done a prediction in the last how many years? Since probably '09 that we have not had her winning or on the podium. But that's a testament also for her being in the sport that long. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I guess Resilient doesn't like that, she's like you jinxing it or but yeah, we'll see. He's saying you're jinxing it. Sorry. Uh yeah, so that's me for the four. That's my take on the 400-meter hurdles for men. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let's get to the women, and I'll come back to this. It comes as no surprise that this is a two-person race. This is between Sydney McLaughlin-Lavone and Femke Bol. Femke Bol became the second woman to go sub 51 seconds over 400-meter hurdles when she did the 50.95 in Switzerland a week or so ago. Sydney has already broken the world record again, and the only thing I can say is that the gap is getting closer. Sydney still has an edge on this, I believe, but the gap is getting closer. There could be some psychological stuff here, and I'll get into that. Partially, the reason why I say it could be some psychological is that when an athlete can run low 51s and you're Sydney McLaughlin and you look at that, you're like, that's not my league. I can do sub 50, sub 51. I can push myself to go somewhere no one has ever gone. But the mere fact that Femke found a way to run sub 51 seconds before the Olympics suggests to me that this could shake up things a little bit. I'm not sure Sydney's word, but she's looking up even more than before. I don't know what we'll get. I'm suspecting that we're likely to see a world record here. And it's going to be an interesting race to watch because these two are most likely going to finish 2 seconds faster than the rest of the field, and that's just outrageous. I still think Sydney should win this. Femke should come second, all things being equal. It might be a very low 50s from Sydney. Probably both of them going very low. But I suspect you might have two women going sub 51 seconds, approaching 50 flat, which is outrageous. But that's where that's going to happen. And the real race after that will be for the athletes to pick up a bronze medal. There are many contenders for the bronze medal. I have a soft spot for Anna Cockrell. I like her a lot. I think she has done some interesting stuff this year going sub 53. She has the capability of getting there. What she did 52.64. Rochelle Clayton from Jamaica leads the charge as well for that bronze medal. Season best 52.51, and also with some requisite experience at this level. Clayton is an absolute warrior on the track. She'll take it from you. So I think she's a fighter there. She should be in the mix. I think it might come down to the likes of a Clayton and a Cockrell to battle it out. Obviously, we can't discount Jones as well, or Adekoya. Those people could do something. Perhaps even a Genevieve Russell could find her way in the mix, but that might be a stretch too far. I am expecting that we might get a world record again. I have Sydney winning it, Femke coming in for the second, possibly Clayton just edging out Anna Cockrell for the bronze. But it will be close, at least for the bronze medal, in my estimation. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me get back to some of the comments here and see what we're going on here. Yeah, so Courtney has. Thanks for saying that. Please leave a like. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hype channel there for me. Sydney Bowl Clayton. Yeah, that's a good I think that's how it might end up. Yeah, Little is not there. She didn't make it to the thing. Yeah. and I think she finished fourth at the U.S. Championships. Yeah, and Jeffrey saying, "Oh yeah, Jeffrey also said that. Thanks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Clayton is a warrior." Rocky is saying Femke is not running sub 51 again. Why you think so? I mean, it's not easy to run sub 51. I don't think it's easy. And but she looked like she had more in the tank. Femke is an extremely strong athlete too. Really has good capacity to run. Very tall. The 400-meter hurdles fits her like a glove, if you want to be honest. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Nicole is saying, "Is Jackson there? Which Jackson are you referring to, and what event are you talking about?" Uh, just for clarification, thanks for joining, Nicole. So yeah, that's where I think the medals will go for the 400-meter hurdle. So yeah, keep putting the comments in. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I'll do a few more before we get out of here. Let's do sprint hurdles and see uh, if we can get those through. Then we may come back tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, that's why you think. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. So you're thinking is that assistance why Femke was able to go sub 51? We'll see. I don't know if you have to look. What we know is that both of them are in that kind of shape. I mean, Sydney obviously better, but and yeah, the Swiss track was kind of a weird track, but as well, it's not. I don't think it's a great track she ran on. So I think I would give her grace. The conditions also, if I remember, wasn't really great for running. So we'll see. Yeah, yeah, we'll see. All right. Let's get to the. Let's talk a little bit of the sprint hurdles here, and then we can make a call whether or not we will come back tomorrow for some more because there's no way I can go through every event tonight. Women's 100-meter hurdles. That's the hardest race to call in track and field to predict. I don't know what to say. You could toss coins, and your guess is good as mine. That's usually how I'm thinking about it this year. Where do I even start? Is really the question. You have an Akira Nugent this year running 12:28 on June 30th at the Jamaica National Championships, and a few hours later, or less than a few hours later, Masai Russell comes back and goes a bit faster at 12:25. Those are the only two women that's gone sub 12:3 so far this year. A lot of people like to point out how Akira Nugent used to beat Masai most of the times in college. I'm not quite sure that will extend into the Olympic or the professional scene. We'll have to see. But there's a lot of other great women out there that can find their way on the podium too. The French woman in particular is having a bumper year. Samba Mayela is going to be on home soil. Can't count that out. You never want to count out the Olympic champion from Tokyo, Jasmine Camacho Quinn. Her best season, this best of the her best time this season is just a shy on the 12:40. But Camacho Quinn is a fighter too. She doesn't give it away. Fierce competitor. I like her. She'll definitely be in the mix. What about the world record holder, Toby Amason? 12:40 for her as well. There's the Taji Kambunji. I think she did a 12:42 or somewhere around there. 12:40 as well. Daniel Williams, the world champion, is there. There is a bunch of other athletes. There's Nadine Vessa from the Netherlands. There is the American woman too. Uh, what's her? Is Alicia Johnson? I mean, there's just a bunch of high quality athletes there that I just don't really know for sure how you call the hurdles at the Olympics. It's just like anything can happen if we're being honest with ourselves. Anything can happen. I don't know. I really don't know how to call it. Call this one, to be honest with you. I really don't know how to call it. I mean, because I think even Alicia Johnson can just win it. You know, Grace Stark. All of these women can win it. See, Rockhill is saying, yeah, I just said that too. Yeah. I'm a little biased. So I'm going with my fellow alum, Grace Stark. Yeah, I think Stark can win it too. It's out there, you know? It's really out there. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So it's yeah, I mean, Haywood is fast. I mean, part of the reason Haywood is fast too, and I keep saying this is it's also the open concept, you know. So the half of the field is like it allows breeds to come in, so you get really good conditions. The track is really nice too, but it's not much faster than as from a standpoint of say the Tokyo track or what you'll see in Paris. It's negligible in terms of the quality of the track, but it's most times the conditions too that really help. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to call this one, to be honest with you. I really don't know how to call this one. Yeah. It, anything can happen. I have this. I probably have to come back and think through that one for sure. Yeah. I mean, let me know your top three. At one point I was like, yeah, maybe it's gonna be between Nugent, Masai, and a Camacho Quinn, but you can you really count out Johnson or Grace Stark if we're being honest with ourselves? You know, and will the world record holder can we count out Toby Amerson? Can you even count out Daniel Williams? Like I feel like on any given day they'll figure it out. If stick them, it might be on someone on the outside may win it. Or the lane or the lane 9 or so. Like or one. You're not in the mix of the race and you just run a clean race by yourself. I really am struggling on this one, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, let's see where we are. Winston is saying Daniel has the experience of two goals from world championships. Yeah, but you also think about Camacho Quinn is the defending champion, right? So she's there. Uh, the Brittany Anderson isn't there, and neither is Megan Tapper. But you have athletes who they don't fear anybody. The women in the 100-meter hurdles, they don't fear anybody. They know that on any given day they can and win. Yeah, that too. I haven't heard about Devon Late today. I don't know if she had picked up something. I forgot to ask him. Yeah, I didn't check on that, to be honest with you. I mean, Charlton had a really great season, obviously world record over. But I like her a lot. I saw her when she used to be on campus here, but she I don't know if she's good enough for the closing stages of the races, right? I mean, obviously she's gone 12-4 this time, but yeah, really great starter. The end is a problem. She's working on that. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Brian is saying the 60-meter world record, we're not giving her a sniff. Like, she should be in the mix. She should be in the mix. I'm telling you, there's no way you can pick the winner of the 100-meter hurdles beforehand and feel confident that you knew this was going to happen. You just can't. Yeah, you're not putting any house on this, right? Or anything. I don't even want to put 20 cents on it. It's just super difficult to be honest to pick up. And every time you go through this now, you um you're basically you leave somebody out. Yeah. We'll come back to it too. We'll come back to it. Wallace is saying Sha'carri all day. What's up, Wallace? Thanks for joining. I think Amber said Noah, Lamont, Kung Fu, and Fred. What? Noah, Lamont. Okay, so if you have Fred coming fourth, so you have Marcel Jacobs coming second. That's interesting. I haven't seen this. Yeah, yeah, Brian, you're right. Charlton fails badly. It's an interesting thing, Uh, interesting situation. All right, let's go to the men, and we may come back and think through some of these things. Let's talk a little bit about the men. So look, all eyes should be on Grant Holloway. He should win this event, and we shouldn't have to think about it. This is how we should really be approaching it. Grant is on course to go down as probably the greatest of all time if he can secure this Olympic gold medal and probably rack up a few more world championship medals. He's very close to the world record. I don't know if he'll approach it again, but he might do so. The last time we were here in 2000 and in 2021, he was the favorite. He was the overwhelming favorite. Then Hansa Parchment from Jamaica had other ideas. He pipped him. Grant is the greatest we've ever seen to 8 hurdles, and after that, he could make some mistakes. We've seen obviously Parchment do that to him. We've seen Broadbell do it to him on the Diamond League. This season, Grant has gone 1286. He's only focusing on this Olympic gold medal, and that should cap off his great career. It would be foolish to bet against Grant Holloway. He should win it, and if he doesn't win it, he needs to come out and explain that one. If I'm being honest, if Grant Holloway doesn't win this 110-meter hurdles, he has to explain it because that would be 2 times in a row. That's just unacceptable. Obviously, we have other Americans in the mix. Freddie Crittenden, I like that kid. Daniel Roberts. The American Championships was so fire that you just you couldn't imagine that athletes didn't make the team. You had to run sub 13 to be on the team, which was outrageous. So those guys are certainly medal contenders for sure. I definitely like the kid from Italy, Simonelli. He's very interesting to me. He's gone 13:05 this season. I believe he could find his way on the podium. He's very competitive. Uh, Japanese have a couple of guys running there, but I think Izumiya could find his way there. The Jamaicans should be very much in contention. All three of them, except that I'm not quite sure what's the state of Broadbell at this moment. He's pulled out of a few races on the circuit. So that's the question for many of us. Orlando Bennett and Hansa Parchment and Broadbell were really separated by a really close photo finish at the Jamaica National Championships. Those guys should be capable of making the final and potentially finding a way on the podium as well. It's going to be tough, really tough, but it should be Holloway easily. And if he doesn't win it, then he has to explain. But it could be a USA clean. It could certainly be a USA clean sweep. I don't know if that will happen, but it's possible. I feel like it's going to be Holloway. I like the Simonelli kid. I think he'll find a way on the podium as well. And then you can't count on a big time performance from like a guy like Hansa Parchment. He shouldn't even be medaling at this stage now, but he's a big time performer and he might be able, if he can get a semi decent start, the finish should be great. But again, I'm having a hard time picking this as well. On the one hand, I'm saying, is it a USA sweep? Would Simonelli get a medal? Can the Jamaicans find a medal there? And if is Broadbell really healthy? If he's healthy, then he could do something super special. This is the space I am when I'm thinking about this event. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let's see. Yeah, Brian is saying the last 10 meters of Grant's race is very ugly, if you ask me. No, it's true. He struggles at the after hurdle 8, he's all over the place. And Courtney's saying Grant frizzles too easily. Yeah, he more than likely will find one too good at crunch time. Courtney saying Hansel is ready to go. And then Winston again points out anything can happen in obstacle events. You're certainly right. That is the problem. Not the problem, but that is the challenge of the hurdles. Can you do them cleanly? It could be accidents out there. Athletes who are slated to win may not even come out of the first round. Stuff happens like that. But if none of that happens, it should be a cracker of a race, and it may require you to go sub 13 or be in a sub 13 shape in order to make your way on that podium. But there's a lot of pressure when you run that race, so we'll see. We shall see. So that's my, I don't. I could see a USA sweep, but I don't think it will happen. I feel like both Simonelli and probably Parchment or one of the other Jamaicans will find their way on the podium. Yeah, I mean, if Broadwell is healthy, I don't know if he is because he pulled out of these races. I'll watch him too in the. He's a wait and see for me too in the rounds. Yeah. All right. I think I can do. Let me do one more event and then I'll call it for the night, and then we can come back tomorrow and do some more. Let's go to men's 1500 meters, and we'll just do the 1500 meters and see and get out of here. I touched on it the other night when we did the live, and we said Jakob Ingebrigtsen has now gone 3:26.73. If you are able of doing 3:26, then you should not have issues. You shouldn't. And Ingebrigtsen obviously has faced some pressure in the last couple of World Championships. Beat the likes of Jake Whiteman and Josh Kerr. Uh, beat him in a way that you don't anticipate, and it wasn't necessarily because of his physical capabilities. It's mostly boils down to something either tactical or a mental issue in terms of psychological preparation for the race. It's either one of those two things. This year his performance seems really good. He's talking a big game. He talks about he can beat these guys, particularly Kerr, blindfolded. And if he maintains this level of sharpness, then I anticipate he should be winning this quite easily. So much so that Ingebrigtsen should be trying to approach the world record from Hikam El Garouj. I don't know if he can get to that, but I think that's the level he needs to be in. I don't think you'll get Whiteman doing anything at this championships. He's injured. I think he may still run. The Josh Kerr thing is an anomaly for me. I don't know what kind of shape he is in. The word is that he's gearing up. I think I saw something where Jonathan Edwards, the triple jump world record holder, was saying that he was looking in good shape, and I just don't really know what you'll get from Kerr. But there's a lot of interesting guys that can find their way on the podium as well, behind an Ingebrigtsen. Timothy Chariot, the Kenyan there is really good. There's always been a lot of talk about Yared Naguse from the United States, but probably Cole Hocker to me is even more impressive than Naguse, but who knows? Great Britain has also Neil Gurley. It's interesting, there's the kid from France, Habaz. Yeah. But this time, I just don't think Ingebrigtsen will make the mistakes he did over the last 2 years. So I have him winning the gold medal and winning it quite comfortably too. And maybe Chariot for the silver, maybe Josh Kerr, if he's really in good shape, could find his way on the medal podium. But I don't really know. It's still a little bit open for me. It's still a bit open for me. And as we mentioned before, the challenge in races like this in the Olympics, it becomes extremely tactical, and you have to be calculating well because there's no pacers, there's no wave light. So that's the big thing. So let me know your thoughts on that, on the 1500 meters there. Let's see. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. I'll do triple jump tomorrow or so, and Reggie saying hurdles is one event he won't bet on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I probably get to some of that. I think 1,500 meters for women probably, you know, that's gonna be ridiculous. Probably world record from Fate for sure. You know, uh, that's probably one of the most exciting events we're likely to see. Clearly, Fate Kipiegan has the ability to go sub 349. Uh, yeah, I expect her to destroy the field on that. There's other interesting athletes that could be in the mix. Well, Ted J. There could be Laura Moore could do something. Jessica Hull, I like what she did recently. Hull really looked good for me in the by chasing or following by following Fate the other day, and then obviously you have Gudaf Sigai. So I think it's gonna be probably Fate Kipiega and Gudaf Sigai and Jessica Hull. I think that's where the medals may go for the women's 1,500. But you let me know for sure, and we can pick up on that tomorrow for sure. Uh, Brian is saying Haka won't even be in that race when the race finish. He will get steamrolled. Probably true. And Reggie saying big up Jamaica for winning the hockey games. I did see something like that, but I'm not a hockey guy. Wallace is saying I'm American, but never count out Sharika Jackson in that 200 meters. Yeah, the word on the Sharika Jackson thing is interesting. I don't know what kind of shape. There's word that she might be okay. I have no idea. I think we'll get a better sense over the 100 meters in the rounds. If she looks good, then we can. I'll think about predictions differently. But right now, I don't have her in the mix for anything until I'm sure that she's actually running. Yeah. Uh, Anna is saying Hansel for a medal. I'm I'm not predicting which. Okay, cool. All right, guys, this has been a great live. I really appreciate everybody for just coming on tonight. We've been on the live for over 2 hours, and I know many of you might have to do things tomorrow, so I will probably shut it down for tonight. Let me just get a more comment. Anna is saying Akira Daniel should get a spot on the podium as well. I'm not gonna say which. I like your confidence here. Yeah, yeah. So we'll be back. Obviously, we'll be back throughout the whole Olympics doing some watch alongs while the events are going on, and also some reaction shows afterwards. And yeah, still have to finish out the predictions and so on. So don't keep your predictions in the comments, and we'll get to them. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't. It does help us out a lot. Hit the notification bell. That will way you know when we go live, put up videos and so on. It's been my pleasure hanging out with you for these last 2 hours. I hope you enjoy, and you can say anything as long as it's clean. We'll fight it out if you don't if we don't agree. We want to keep the community here a safe space for everybody, and the best way to do that is to express ourselves with a level of um, we have to just looking at this comment here. Yeah, we just have to behave in a particular good way. Agro, what's going on? Ask the tuber coaches that he can give you an update on Sharika. Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing some things too. I don't know yeah, I don't know him personally, but yeah, I, we'll see. I mean, there is word that she might be okay, and if that's the case, then it should be good. But we'll see. All right, guys. You guys take care. I'll see you later on. Bye bye.